His movie, I don't know, I didn't really like it. It seems to mostly have positive reviews, but I didn't care for it. So basically, the plot of this movie is Robin Williams is this lonely guy that has no friends. His mother died. He has no family that we know of. And he ends up getting attached to a so-called perfect family, is what the description calls it. But I don't get how it's a perfect family. They argue. They barely spend time. The husband barely spends time with his son or his wife, and they get in an argument about it in the beginning of the movie. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff though. Not to mention him cheating on her, which she found out after like some photos. I guess he took photos for whatever reason. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Just, she took a camera there, getting her photos like usual, and then somehow, I think his name is Sai in this movie. I just finished it like 20 minutes ago. I'm just now doing the review. Found photos of him cheating. So he was like really pissed about it because he cared about the girl and her son. It's a very odd movie. I mean, it's decent, but it's really not that good. Ends up becoming, a bit of a weird movie. He ends up near the end of the movie going to the person that the husband's cheating on with in a hotel. He finds that out somehow. Even though, as far as we've seen, he only really stalks the mom and the son. That's who he usually stalks. Because, the dad's obviously, like, hardly ever home because he's cheating. So how'd he ever find out where he went? Anyways, he finds out where he was. And he threatens him with the knife and the girl that he's cheating with. And he forces them to, like, do poses to show that he's cheating or something, I guess. Even though she already knows. He knows she saw the photos, I'm pretty sure. Because there's a scene where she's looking at the photos in her car and she just starts swerving around and stops the car, and he's watching her during that scene because he was following her on the way home. And yeah, he does know, actually. Because he goes to their house later when the husband's home. Then he gets pissed that the wife doesn't get angry at him. He's like, "What's wrong with this family?" And he punches his steering wheel. And then leaves. So did he seriously think showing her pictures of them having sex would, like, immediately make her be like, "Oh, well, that's a deal breaker. He's cheating on me, but he's having sex?" I never thought if he was cheating on me, he would have sex with another woman. Like, I don't get what was going through his mind. He's obviously not the most mentally stable person, but it's still really stupid. And then the movie kind of ends not too long after he gets arrested. And he's in an interrogation room, and he ends up kind of implying that he was sexually abused by his parents. And the movie just kind of ends like I don't know. I don't know what this movie was going with. It doesn't say if it was his dad or mom. It just, like, he starts talking about why he was taking these photos and asked if the cop has a family or whatever, and then it just kind of goes in the direction of him being like, "Oh, that was a really good family. They would never ask to do something that a child shouldn't do," and then he'd start breaking out crying. There was a few other words, so it was clearly implying, you know, sexual abuse. This movie just, I don't know, I didn't care for it. It was decent at first, like, decently creepy. But it just kind of got boring. Wasn't really interesting. And at times it just wasn't, you know, exactly scary. There's a random scene of him sleeping, and during his dream, he starts like bleeding out of his eyes. And it was a very cringy scene. It wasn't scary at all. Then there's another scene that I think is very random. We never see a dog in the movie. Not even once. But there's a scene where he is like daydreaming while he's in his car. And when he's daydreaming that he's in their house and he's looking around, he sees Jake's messy room. He sees a picture of himself on the fridge because he took a picture of himself earlier in the movie because there's one last shot in the camera and it would be a waste to not use it or whatever. And anyway, he sits on the couch, starts watching football and drinking a beer or whatever. And he talks to this dog called Naz or something. I don't remember the name. But we've never seen them with a dog. So not only is he pretending to be in their house very accurately, I know he's a stalker and all, but geez, it looks exactly like the house. But he just made up a dog that we've never seen in the movie? The dog's not even mentioned at all. Where did he come up with this dog? Oh, and then there's also this random thing where he gets fired by his boss. That part's not random. But he decides to come back to his work with pictures of the boss's daughter. And the police take it as an indirect threat, as they should. But that's that. That's the last we hear of it. They're like, oh yeah, she's at her mother's house. And then that's the end of that. Like, really? We never see the boss again or anything. Why throw that in there if it wasn't really important? But yeah, that's about it.